Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to Unwind Flow Yoga. For today's practice, we'll be doing a slow flow, and the only props you'll need is a blanket, and we'll use that a little bit later in our class. For our slow flow practice today, we're inspired by the metal element from traditional Chinese medicine. This element is responsible for our immunity and also the structure and routine of our day. So as you go through our practice, I'm going to be bringing your awareness to the energy pathways that are connected to the metal element, which exist a lot in the arms, the shoulders, and the chest. And the two meridians we're looking at here are the lung and the large intestine. And I'll just briefly show you where those energy pathways are situated so you can bring your awareness back to these areas later in our class. So I'll just show you on one arm here. So if my thumb is face up here, the lung starts through the front or the soft side of the thumb and goes along the top area of the soft side of the arm all the way up the arm and then ending off just below the clavicle here. And the large intestine is mirroring that on the back of the hand. So starting at our pointer finger, going up the more thicker skin side of the arm, going all the way into our shoulder blade here, into our subscapularis, and then ending off at our nose. So as we get started here, we'll flip over into child's pose and then bring our awareness back to those areas. So join me when you're ready here. If you'd like a little bit of extra cushion, you can always grab onto your blanket for your knees. Otherwise, knees can be wide apart here, sinking the chest in between the knees here. If you can, bring the forehead down to your mat, and this is where you might also like to bring in your blanket. Arms are extending forward here, and just bring your awareness here as we settle in back to those areas that I was talking about there. So towards the thumb side of the arm, on the front and the back. Bring energy all the way from our thumb and our pointer fingers, all the way up the arms, into the chest, into the shoulders, through the sides of the neck and into our nose. See here as you connect to these areas energetically, you can start to tap into the breath. Drawing the breath into the nose and release the breath out through the nose. See if you can link your breath up to this energetic connection. No right or wrong here, no way that the energy should be traveling. No way that your breath should be directed. Just see if you can make a subtle link there. And then from here, we're going to turn this into the thread the needle variation. So if your forehead is on your mat or support, just lift it up just enough that you can weave the right arm underneath the left and then settle the right side of the head down onto the floor. And as we come into this twisted shape, notice that our chest is a little bit more closed off. See if you can still connect to that energetic movement. Maybe on the right arm, you focus on the more softer skin side. And on your left arm, this extended arm, think about the thicker skin side. So starting off with the pointer finger, reaching all the way up the left arm. And slowly we'll switch sides. So when you're ready, lift the head up. Release the right arm back down to the floor. Just take a moment to pause there. Notice any differences that you might feel right side or left side. And then as you're ready, switching sides. Head lifts, weave the left arm underneath the right, and then soften the left side of the head down onto the floor. Or maybe a support if the floor feels far away. once again on this side, checking into those energetic pathways. Noticing any subtle shifts in the body just by bringing your awareness there and coming into a few simple poses. Now that you're familiar with the structure of our pose here, see where you can soften a little bit. Maybe that's softening the arms and the upper body because your focus is there. But that might also mean allowing the hips to be a little bit heavier back towards the heels. Fronts of the shins feel supported by the floor beneath you. And then as you're ready, slowly unraveling here. Once again, coming back into child's pose here. Just soften for a few breaths. Maybe noticing how the chest is a little bit more open here. Even though we're facing down towards the floor, we've removed that twist. So we feel a sense of opening around the upper chest area where the arm meets the torso. And then from here, slowly making your way up. And then we're going to slide all the way onto our bellies here. So in your own time, take the hands out in front and then roll all the way down into this prone position. We'll take the arms long out beside us, and this time palms will face up, so our thumbs are close towards the thighs, and then foreheads down on the floor. We're going to come into some variations on Shalabhasana or locust pose. And as we rise up into our pose, we're going to hold it for a few breaths. So rather than thinking about this really high lift that feels immediate, think more about the structure of your pose and then use the time in the pose to soften into it. So as you're ready here, let's start off by lengthening our tailbone. So feel the tailbone draw a little bit more towards our heels, and then we feel our thighs connect into the floor beneath us, and then start to engage the quad muscles. So knees lift, toes are still on the floor. Thinking about our upper body now, this is what we want to focus on, is the shoulders wrapping onto the back body. Feel the squeeze in between the shoulder blades, and then think about the chest still lifting away from the floor as the arms rise and the toes. So for this first one, we'll stay here for about 3 breaths, just marking the structure of our pose. Feel the fingertips reach back behind you, reach towards your toes. And then exhale, slowly lower down. Take a moment to pause, let it go, see where you can soften. And then reset, remembering those cues here, lengthening the tailbone, lift the knees off the floor, draw the shoulder blades onto the back body, lift everything up, thinking about this opening in the chest. And that might mean rotating the arms a little bit, so you feel like the upper arm bone is reaching away from the neck. See if you can hold here and notice if you're gripping, where can you soften? Can you stay here for 2 more full breaths? Get a little longer. Can you reach the fingers a little bit closer together? And then exhale, let it go. All right, we have 2 more of those. We're gonna do 1 more arm variation, and then on the last one, the choice is yours. So when you're ready, start to reset your pose here. Lengthen tailbone, lift everything up, and then continue to reach back. See if the hands start to work their way closer towards each other. Maybe bend the elbows to get there. And then once you find the interlace of the fingertips, can you lengthen the arms back out, reaching the knuckles towards the heels and get a little longer. Wherever the arms are, start to notice a little bit more of that opening in the chest. See if you can exaggerate it just a little bit more. And then soften into it. Exhale, let it go. We have 1 more. So your choice with the arms on this one, any of those variations, or if you need to back off a little bit, please do. As you're ready, start to lift everything up off the floor. Maybe you search for that interlace once again, maybe the opposite cross of the fingers, and then reach the knuckles back behind you. Continuing to hold here in your Shalabhasana locust pose. Breathing space into the front of the chest. And then exhale, slowly let it go. Release the hands so they're underneath the shoulders, and then press back into a child's pose just for a breath. Getting a little bit of a counter pose there. And then we'll lengthen everything back out in downward facing dog. So plant the hands, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, and spend a few breaths here walking out your down dog. Send one knee and then the other, shifting the hips gently side to side. And then as you're ready, come towards a still downward facing dog pose. See if once again you can bring your awareness to these energetic pathways along this front edge or top edge of the arms. Notice as you connect the hands into the floor, you might be drawing a little bit of energy, like you're plugging in, and you can bring that energy into your strong downward facing dog. Stacking our joints here, feeling the muscles engaged, feeling the upper arm bones squeezing and strengthen the chest. Take another breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then from here, come up to the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look forward past the hands, feel the opening in the chest. And then on an exhale, step forward. Come towards the top of your mat into a forward fold. Soften the knees as you drop the head forward. On an inhale, let's lengthen the spine so hands come towards the shins. Use the hands on the legs to extend the chest forward. Straight spine into our half lift. And then exhale, fold, let go. From here, we'll rise all the way back up into Tadasana, arms lift. Exhale, hands towards the heart, and then release the arms by the sides. Once again, rotate the palms open, thumbs back, chest is open, shoulders are back and down, and we can breathe fully here. On the next breath in, take the hands towards the heart. We're going to step back into warrior two on our right side. So keep the right foot where it is. Take a big step back with your left foot. A nice heel to arch alignment here. When you're ready, extend the arms out long and look over your right fingertips. Can you drop the shoulders down while keeping the arms strong and lifted? From here, we'll take both hands and squeeze them into gentle fists. And we're going to move here, bringing our knuckles up on one side and down on the other side, just alternating. Join me when you're ready here. You can still look over your right fingertips as you alternate the wrists here up and down, or you can add the head. So look towards the long edge of your mat, and then join the head with the knuckles that are facing up, and then switching sides. Noticing this gentle flossing of the tissues along the sides of the neck. Stay with your breath here, and it doesn't have to match your movement. You just want to remember to breathe through it. Take one more each side. And then release the arms, so release the fingertips, allow them to be free once again. And then inhale to reverse warrior. Take your right arm up, legs stay as they are, maybe even look up, and maybe rotate the pinky down towards the floor. Really feeling this opening through your right side body. Take another breath in. Exhale, take the hands down towards the floor, step back towards downward facing dog. Option to stay in your downward facing dog, noticing the difference right side, left side, or if you'd like to take a flow here, now's your chance. Inhale, come forward to your plank, knees down, then the elbows come all the way down towards the floor. You can take Shalabhasana once again, or coming into Cobra pose, whichever back bend you choose, focusing on this opening of the chest. When you're ready, we'll all meet back into downward facing dog. Hips lift, press the palms into the floor. Take an inhale breath, lift onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look forward past the hands. And then on an exhale, step forward. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, release, fold forward. Inhale to rise, lift all the way back up. Exhale, hands towards the heart, and then release them out by the sides. Take 2 breaths here into Tadasana. Coming into warrior 2 on the second side. I'm just going to turn around so I'm still facing you. So take the hands wherever's comfortable here. Warrior 2 on the left. Keep the left foot where it is. Take a big wide step out with the right foot. Looking down, make sure you have this nice firm base here for our pose. We're really focusing on the upper body today, but we want to have this nice firm foundation of the legs to support our pose. Gazing over our left fingertips, see if you can sink a little lower. And then once again, squeeze the fingers into gentle fists here, and then we'll bring one wrist up while the other rotates down, and just start to move here up and down. You can continue to look over your left fingertips or adding in the head as the fingers come up. Drop the ear towards the shoulder, and then switch sides. Now that this movement is somewhat familiar to you, soften the gaze so you know what I'm doing. So you can really focus on the movements here. Notice what you feel in your body. Take one more each side. And then release. Give the fingers a little bit of a wiggle, and then reverse your warrior. The left arm reaches up as the right hand slides down the right leg. Stay low in the legs, and then rotate the left pinky towards the floor. Take another breath in. Exhale, take the hands down towards the floor. Downward facing dog. Once again, optional to stay in down dog or go through your flow. Whatever you're feeling today, whatever makes sense for you in your energy. When we meet back into downward facing dog, stay there for another breath. And then exhale, rise onto the toes. Bend the knees, look forward past the hands. Take a big step forward, right foot then left, maybe. Inhale to lift halfway, open chest. Exhale, release, fold forward, drop the head. As you inhale, rise all the way back up. Exhale, hands towards the heart, and then release the palms out to the sides. Taking that moment there to check in. Noticing this sense of structure in your Tadasana pose. But also where you've created space for shifts in your energy, space for breath, space for new beginnings. And then as you're ready here, we're going to come into a kneeling position, continuing with some of our back bends. So this might be a good place to grab onto your blanket here, just to cushion the knees a little bit. And we're going to come into Ustrasana camel pose. And we'll take these sort of half variations first, and then we can go into the full variation if you prefer later on, mixing in a child's pose in between each round. So when you're ready here, we're in a kneeling position with our toes tucked under. This will be really important to our pose. And we want to keep our hips above our knees. So thinking about the tailbone is tucked under and this gentle front ribs hugging in. So we can really allow the chest to widen open. And we're not worried about like widening this midsection area here. So when you're ready, inhale, take your arms up. Notice this line here, wrists over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees. And for this first one, we'll keep our right arm extended up. Think about opening the right side, and then sweep the left arm back behind you. Palm faces out, So the palm should face me, and then see if you can connect the fingertips or even just reach fingertips towards the inner left heel. And if you can find that here, fingertips press into the heel and the heel presses back. And you're not going to feel that right away if you found it. And then countering that with our right arm. So the right shoulder continues to draw onto the back body, right side chest opens. Take another breath in. And then as we exit here, release left arm and then sink this back towards the heels. Right arm on top of left, sink the head down towards the forearms. Trying that on our left side when you're ready. Inhale to rise up, tuck the toes back under, sweep the arms up. Reconnect here, tailbone tucks under, front ribs hug in. And then keeping the left arm lifted, sweep the right arm back behind you, palm rotates out, and then see if you can reach the fingertips towards the inner heel, so the inner edge of the foot. And if you found it there, press the fingertips into the heel, heel presses back into fingertips, and then widen the left side chest. Can you get a little bit taller? And then on an exhale, left forearm above right, fold it back into that child's pose shape. Perfect. All right, inhale, rise up. We're gonna do 2 more, and you can either do 1 more of each side, or we'll do 2 with both arms reaching out for the heels. So I'll demonstrate that on this first one. Tuck the tailbone under, front ribs hug in, inhale, arms rise up. As you exhale, sweep the arms back behind you, and then squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. Allow that to be sort of this powerhouse of the opening. As you start to bring the fingertips back towards the heels, see if you can make that connection there. Keeping the hips pressing forward, opening this upper chest area. Find the connection, fingertips to heels, heels back towards fingertips. Whenever you're ready to come out, please do. Take a rest in that child's pose shape, one forearm above the other one. Coming out, resting the forehead down for a moment. And then we have 1 more here, either full Ustrasana or that second side. Arms up when you're ready. Exhale, see if you can connect. So really what we're looking for here is this chest opening, our upper arm bones rotating out. The back bend, definitely a benefit of our pose here as well, but really what we're looking for is this upper chest engagement. And you should be able to feel that, especially if you've connected to fingertips, heels. On your next exhale, soften your way out. 1 forearm above the other. Soften the forehead down. Acknowledging here that that was our last sort of structured pose. And here we're just going to end off with restorative. So see if you can acknowledge yourself here for adding in that structure to the poses that we went through today, tapping into that strength of our alignment. And balancing off that idea with this idea of softening. Whatever that means for you and your experience of your practice. Does it mean to get a little softer? What does it mean to let go? What does it mean to make space for something new? And then as you're ready, we'll make our way up into our restorative pose. So you can take your blanket, a towel would work here as well. We're going to roll it up into a cylinder here. And you want it to be as long as your torso. So you may need to unfold your blanket a little bit. And then from here, we're going to take it the vertical way on our mat and then line up the edge of it with our sacrum, and we're going to lie back onto it. So we're lining our blanket roll with our spine as we lie back. This is one of my favorite simple restorative poses. And so you really just need a blanket to get this little bit of a lift, but you really get a lot of benefit through this upper chest area, through the fronts of our shoulders. We spend so much time rounded forward in seated postures. It's good to have this passive opening. Making sure your head is supported. If you have extra space with your blanket, you can always roll it up into a little bit more of a pillow. And then knees can be bent here, or you can extend the legs if that's comfortable for you. Remembering that we're connecting to this idea of letting go here as we finish off our practice. So whatever shape will help you to connect to that idea. Bring your awareness in between the shoulder blades now, this area that we were drawing together throughout our class. See if you can remind this area to soften, even as the shoulder blades are sort of passively coming together. Once again, bring your awareness to those two meridian areas we talked about at the beginning of class and throughout. This top edge of the thumb side of our arm. Noticing the energy coming from the hands all the way up the arms, into the chest, to the shoulders, sides of the neck and the nose. Reminding yourself here that you can draw in this energy anytime that you like. And you can also release this energy out into the world, sharing it with others who need it most. Take a moment to send gratitude to yourself for making it to your mat today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again very soon. Namaste.